thank you everybody, and welcome everybody for joining our 138 Women for Solution webinar, where we create awareness, connect, learn, inspire to action to reimagine our world towards a more caring economy. I'm Laura Jadaru Koch, founder of Women for Solution, a global network of thousands of women, entrepreneur in more than 40 countries. The topic today is incredible. You will all love it. Reconnecting to the source, the new science of spiritual experience, how it can change you and how it can transform the world. And our speaker, our most amazing speaker, Ervin László. You will absolutely love all his experience he's going to share. He's Hungarian philosopher of science, system and integral theorist, originally a classical pianist. Ervin is truly amazing. It's an advocate of the theory of quantum consciousness that we at Women for Solution believe deeply. And for over 60 years of wisdom, he will share his innovative systems and methodologies of how our humanity today, after or during COVID, is ready and can shift to a more harmonious world. And our amazing moderator, Viola Edward, an amazing friend and fellow Women for Solution board member, is a personal and corporate advisor, pioneer in breathwork, key element for our lives, and mental health fitness in the workplace with more than 30 years of experience. Today, she's CEO of Grit Academy and is author of many amazing books. On this, with a wide smile, Viola, the line is all yours.
Thank you so much. And it's my pleasure and honor to be interviewing you, Ervin, such a dear friend to our heart and professor and somebody that is a model for us at home. So there is so many books to talk about. I know your book, The Immutable Laws of the Akashic Field, is coming out the 9th of March this year. So this is amazing gift for this month, for all the people like me that birthday is this month, or for celebrating Women Month, and a beautiful book to read. And today we're going to focus in one of the latest article of Professor Ervin, The Royal Road. In this article, The Royal Road, you explain how a new paradigm of thinking and acting must be done to get to it. You state 4 different insights. We must get to the mindset: wholeness, oneness, love, and evolution. If we start talking of the theme of wholeness, you say the quantum science explain we are all intrinsically interconnected. How is this possible? Can you explain to us more?
We are getting into the depths of quantum science. That's not the point here. The point is the implications, the consequences, the suggestions that we get out of this complex science. And that, what the science is telling us, is not complicated. It's very simple, and it's very basic, and it's very, very ancient at the same time. The ancient cultures, the classical cultures, East and West, have known that we are not separate, that we are belonging to a single field. The modern sciences talk about fields. If A is connected to B, then there is something connecting them. And if you don't see a mechanical connection, don't see something pushing and pulling, then they can still be connected, because all things are connected through a field, through a quantum field. This quantum field is embracing all things. The universe itself is such a field. In my latest book, which will appear in a couple of days, actually talking about the Akashic field, this ancient intuition of this field being Akashic, which means beyond the other dimensions of space and time, on earth and fire and soil and air. Beyond this dimension, there is something more unifying. And now the ancients knew this, modern scientists know this. Modern scientists don't talk about mysticism and magic. We talk about a unified field, a unified quantum field. This quantum field is actually an Akashic field, and we are a part of it. That's the message of the quantum sciences. And it's very important for our time, because if we take this message to heart, then we know that what we do to each other, we do to ourselves. What we do to our environment, we do to ourselves. We are not separate. Einstein was among the famous people who said, separation is an illusion. He said it without hesitating. It is impelled, it is induced by our sensory experience. We see separate things, but the separate things are not truly separate. As William James, the great psychiatrist, psychologist, and pragmatic philosopher said, we are like islands in the sea, separate in the surface, but connected in the deep. That is the lesson of the new quantum science, the lesson of the new paradigm. And it's absolutely fundamental for living in this world. We have to live as being connected to each other, to our environment, to the world around us. We are not separate. We are part of this magical whole, which we call the universe.
Indeed, we are. And everything, even in our body, in our mind, is systemic and connected. How can we be different than that? Thank you, Ervin. You talk also about the mindset that will lead us to embrace the intrinsic interconnection, and is by living the positive sum games. How do you think these positive sum games could be thought during different life phases of a person?
You must remember that we are not competing. We are not here to compete with each other. It is not a question of what is good for me is indifferent to you. What is good for me, if it is truly good, it is good for you. That's the whole essence of what I was just talking about. Obviously, if you are part of the whole same system, then what is good for the system is good for the part. What is good for one part is good for the other part. So live in a way that recognizes what Gandhi said. Be the change you want to see. What change? The change to oneness. The change to connection. The change to recognition of who we truly are. And this recognition is in nature. It's in the universe. This persistent sense of interconnection is in every quantum of our brain and body, in every cell. It is in us. And to recognize it, to bring it to the surface, we need to go beyond the surface of the everyday events, beyond the surface competition, the violence, the intolerance, the many ills that we see in the world today. We have to see that when we got really down to it, when we go into us, we let our intuition speak, as all the great Eastern religions tell us, also the Western religions, in fact, tell us, listen to yourself. And when we do that, then this law, which makes things connected, this Akashic law, is in us. We can recognize it. And if you recognize it and start living it, then we live differently. Let me just give you one slogan. Live in a way so that others could also live. I don't mean live exactly the same way. I mean live. We are 7.7 or 7.8 billion people on this planet. We all need to live. If we live the way we have been living, only a small part of this human population could live. There is not enough energy, there is not enough space even, there is not enough food if we keep wasting it in a selfish and unreflective, irresponsible way that I've been doing. We can reform. We can find the resources. This is a precious and rich planet. We have been exploiting it in a selfish way, thinking what is good for us is what counts. We first, as the American slogan up to recently now is changing, was America first, we first, never mind the rest. So that has to change. We have to recognize that we are part of a larger whole, and what is good for us is really good for the whole. Never mind that that there are others that I don't understand this. We have to allow all people to come forth with their deeper self. We have to get down to who we truly are. A quantum being who is intrinsically informationally connected. We are informed, our cells are informed by the cosmos, by the universe. Every cell in our body is not passive, is not random, it's informed to our being part, integral part of a whole. The body of the human being, the body of any living being is the greatest teacher we could have. It shows how a diverse system made up of millions and millions of cells, maybe hundreds of thousands of different cells, can actually work together so that it creates a functioning whole, which has wholeness, which has integrity, and which is part of its environment. That is a new vision, is the new paradigm. And that is a solution to the problems that we have. Because one who lives this new paradigm doesn't destroy the world around it, becomes a functional part of an organic, evolving whole. That's what we are. We have to recognize who we are. Otherwise, life on this earth is endangered. We are an endangered species. We are a self-endangered species. We endanger ourselves. That has to change. That is changing. I think the current global crisis induced by a malignant virus actually is a teacher. It tells us we have to change. If we don't change, not only a health crisis, but a climate crisis, a resource crisis, an energy crisis, an intolerance crisis, all of these crises could open us. So this current crisis has to teach us this is the time now when the Earth old system is breaking open and we have a chance to create a new. Let's create it as one with each other and one with the world around us. That is the important paradigmatic thing that we have to learn. I hope that if I sound like preaching, you will forgive me, but I mean seriously. This imperative is very, very real. We have got to begin to live like part of an integral whole system with admiration for the whole, with love for each other, with love for all things. This mindset is already emerging. We should become a positive element promoting this mindset, this recognition of who we are, recognition of our oneness. Sure, it's poesy, but now it's science. It's quantum science. It's ancient wisdom rediscovered in the most modern laboratories and telescopes. This is a wonderful thing. It's amazing that it is the case. As Einstein also said, the most amazing thing about this world is that it's so coherent that we can understand it. It's coherent. We are coherent. We have to live coherently. That means tuned to each other, sensitive to each other, and together create a whole working system which has internal as well as external coherence. That is the lesson I think we all need to learn.
Indeed, indeed. It's really music to our ears, and it seems like the breath we inspire, and I understand you fully. And it's our duty in every area we are to be influencers of this paradigm that some of us we've been living in for a while. Talking about evolution, it sounds like you are finding hope that youth will follow their intuitive feelings and spontaneous insights, aligning with the cosmic drive for evolution. How do you think the older generation could engage with this youthful wave and dare to cross the generational bridge between?
This let's call it information. You know, I like to spell information with a hyphen, information. The world around us, and this comes from quantum science, by the way, it comes from David Bohm, one of the greatest physicists in quantum science, whom I had also the pleasure to meet at one time. Well, information means that nothing in the world is entirely independent of other things. Nothing is unformed. Nothing is chance. What you have got to learn is that there is no pure chance in the world. There is no absolute randomness. The simplest quantum, the simplest particle, a quantum particle, is already informed. How could an electron join with the neutron, create the nucleus of an atom? How could electrons join the shell exactly in such a way that more and more complex atoms are created, which have a valence by which they can join other atoms and create molecules? How could molecules join together to create cells and crystals? How could these join together to create organisms and then systems and society, ecologies of organisms? Is because we are informed. The world is not a Newtonian machine. It's a quantum evolving system. Evolution is something which we believe, and I think it's as good a guess as we could possibly have, having started in the wake of this singularity, which is known as the Big Bang, 13.8 billion years ago. In the wake of this, the universe was so hot that nothing could form, but as it cooled, gradually ensembles of these elements formed, and they created particles, as I said, and particles created atoms and molecules, and the great wave of evolution started, and it continues today. We are an expression of it. So this great evolution is toward integrity, toward coordination, toward coherence. And it is mirrored in our mind, in our consciousness, in the form of a sense of belonging, belonging to the world around us, belonging to each other. When it is expressed in a way that young people like to talk about it, as unconditional love, love which is not because I want something in exchange, but because I feel it. I feel the love as being a mother love is love of the son for the mother as for the mother for the son and for the daughter. If I feel that, then I'm in tune with that electron that forms a part of the nucleus of the hydrogen atom that is basic to my organism. We are all part of that. So recognizing that there is no chance, pure chance, no pure randomness, that all this universe did not come about by just a series of one thing following another. This was a mainstream science concept up to 20, 30 years ago. And now, even now, it's very often taught in schools. Random interactions have created the world. They did not. Random interactions were informed. They were moved by something which is deeper than all the interactions, than all these things that are moved by. This deeper. Religions talk about it as a divine being. Spiritually talks about it as a cosmic consciousness. We can talk about it as a divine spark, whatever it is. I talk about it as what we know from system sciences, when a system is moving in a given direction, not just randomly, but a given direction. It moves that way because it follows attractors. The attractors are built into the system. This universe has an attractor, which are called the holotropic attractor. Its holos means wholeness, tropic means a tropism, a tendency, a pull towards something. It's a pull toward wholeness. That is the basic attractor of the universe. And it's in us. It's expressed when we feel our oneness. It's expressed when we feel love. And it can not do better than that, than to recognize that it is in us and to follow it in everything we think and everything we do. The great poets, the great scientists are now telling us what the great sages have been knowing for thousands of years. We are joined by each other, and we can express it, we can live up to it by this unconditional love.
You're muted, so Viola.
And it's my honor to be a member of the board of Women for Solution and the caring economy that has 4 major pillars: the care of the environment, the work of care for people, the importance of high quality early childhood education and reskilling, and the transparency and metrics of people well-being and regeneration of the environment. We feel that what we are aligned, what we are so engaged with is so aligned with what you're telling us. There is anything else that you can tell us about the caring economy?
All that you're being committed to it is a wonderful news, a wonderful factor. It's a source of hope, because women, I think, are closer than men. There are always exceptions, of course, also among men, but on the whole, they are closer than men to the source, to this recognition of who we really are. And when you have this recognition, then you are indeed caring, like you say, you're caring for each other. Let's learn, we use the word ecology and environment, but it's not outside, it's inside. We are our environment. This environment is in us, just as we are in the environment. The whole universe is in us. The universe is a hologram. That's another factor, it's another expression that is worthwhile to know. Because you know, the hologram, and we can work with that, we can create holograms, as you know, has a very special feature. All the information that creates an image of a hologram is in every part of it, no matter how small a part. If you illuminate any small part of a hologram, you get the entire picture. The more of it you illuminate, the sharper the picture. But there is the information of the whole is in the part. And if the universe is a hologram, the information of the whole universe is in us, in each and every one of us. It's in our brain or mind. It can emerge in our consciousness, if we let it. The great sages were unanimous in thinking, don't have to learn, you don't need to learn something artificial. You have to allow the knowledge that you have to emerge. Plato said that 2,500 years ago. We allow it. And I think this caring, these basic principles that women are now sharing in this caring economy, in this caring for the environment, and in the importance of education, all that is an expression of a recognition of this higher information which is in us, that we are informed. Let us bring this force, allow the information to come. The best education is not education teaching you something new. Best education is to teaching you something that you already knew but didn't recognize. The response to the greatest wisdom is not, oh, what a funny thing, or what an amazing thing, or what a new thing to me is, was a novelty. The greatest expression is aha, aha. I knew it, and now I know it consciously. That's the goal of education. And you can do this with women for a caring economy, for a caring world. Let your experience be the aha experience for all of us.
And with an inspiration, aha. I have one important question here. There's many questions, but there is one for me is very, very important to pass to you. And it's from Alvaro Zarate. It said, I'm with a team of indigenous healers from the Amazon, executing projects related to Ervin's teaching. Would love to have a minute to ask about his thoughts or advice. Please, can you write me your question, Alvaro, please? We have few minutes with Professor László, and it will be our pleasure to
Can I speak? It will be faster? Okay, or you want me to write it?
No, please.
Better to write it. Better to write it.
Yeah, please. Yeah. Thank you, Alvaro. Thank you. How wonderful and nourishing would life be if we understand and materialize what we're sharing here with Professor László, that love can be interpreted and lived with the fact that we are all made of the same particles of the universe. And I think we can feel it in ourselves. We can feel it every time we feel love, we feel friendship, we feel connection. In this room, there is people that I meet for very few days, but they are already in my heart and in my life, like Carlos. And we have beautiful sisterhood with Laura and with Eli that we have met during the COVID time, and we had engaged to do a beautiful work together. And Ervin, apart from the caring economy that Laura is spreading all around the world, we also are creating, and you will be very happy about it, the caring alliances. And the caring alliances, most simple concept is, as I care for you, I care for me, and as I care for me, I care for you, and as I care for you, I'm going to be better, and the world will be better. So what we are creating, and that's part of your teaching too. So Laura, would you like any comment with Ervin? We still have 3 minutes, and I'm waiting for Alvaro's question.
So in the meantime, if you can tell us in your daily life, how have you in all these years connected more with the essence, with the consciousness? Have you meditated? What is it that people can practice on a daily basis to move forward towards this type of consciousness and kindness and caring for others?
Join the world, join nature, join friendship. My experience started in a very special way, and you can't expect everyone to have the same experience. My experience started as a child prodigy in music. When I played music, when I performed, particularly when I performed with other people, with other musicians and for a public, I had a deep experience, a sense of harmony, a sense of perfection. And I was seeking that wherever I looked, also in nature. I think it's there. It's there in nature. You enter nature, for example, as the new Japanese revived custom of forest bathing, they call it, of bathing in nature, in a forest, not literally, of course, but allowing to embrace you, embrace a forest embracing you. But anything, the sky above you, the trees. I'm now engaged in planting some more trees in my garden here in Tuscany, and also caring for all the trees and all the flowers that are growing here. This is a wonderful feeling. We can do that with nature, but we can do it with society. We can do it with art. We can do it with religion, with spirituality. We have wonderful aesthetic experiences awaiting us. Let's not shut ourselves away from them. Allow this sense of unity, of integrality to enter you, and through you to enter the world around you. We are beacons. We are highlights and lighters of a spark through which we can live better. We can live finally as who we really truly are, as members of the same family, the same being. Of course, if you do something good for others, care for others, you care for yourself. And if you truly care for yourself, you care for others. You cannot be truly caring without others. I understand there is an ancient Chinese concept of well-being, which says well-being cannot be for a single person. If you have truly well-being, you have being well for all people around you. That is true well-being. I'm now on the point of co-writing a book on the dawn of an era of well-being with a Chinese businessman, a very spiritual person. And that will appear in June, called The Dawn of an Era of Well-being. And there we describe this concept in practice and also in terms of the great traditions of East and West. It's something to learn, something to know, because we are one, then we are well. We are well, then we are one.
Thank you so much, Professor, a dear friend. You gave us half an hour and the half an hour passed. I know there is some question. So maybe we will be writing to you those questions through email. What do you think? So, and then we don't take more of your time.
Well, I'm happy to be at your disposal for a dialogue. We have to do this together. If there is anything I can do to further your cause, which I think is excellent and very much needed, please don't hesitate to call on me.
Thank you so very much. And Laura is our half an hour as we engage this audience. It's already here. We are, I think, I can see some faces, Carlos and Leila and Michael, and some faces that Antonia filled with joy and hope and love. And Samia from Pakistan, thank you so much for being here. So I think you just, again, once more have touched our hope in humanity and our love for humanity and for the planet and for nature, and remind us that everything is connected systemically, and there is nothing that we will be doing that will not affect other part of the system. Alvaro, I'm going to pass you Professor László email, and you can ask the question that I'm sure he will be very happy to answer you. Thank you so much for being here. And thank you so much, Laura, for creating this platform for us all to keep learning, to keep expanding, and to keep honoring our planet and its inhabitants. Your last word, Ervin, for this meeting?
It gives me hope, faith, and confidence that you are doing this, that you are what you are telling us. This is the future. The future is people like you. You have to spread your message, not as something that you want others to do, but by being what you are and allowing others to witness it, to participate. Let's share, like great artists have always shared their experience through their work of art. The work of art now is a life. It's your life. It's your existence around you. Make it into a true work of art. Make it perfect and share it. Then a new human will take over, and there will be a world of equity, of justice, and of life. Life is a capital L, a life where all living beings can live together in harmony. That's what we are meant to be. That's what the laws of nature tell us we are. Let's be it in practice. And what you are doing gives me hope that you are doing it. Thank you for being here, for doing it.
Thank you. And what you are doing, Professor László is creating the László Research Institute. And as you can imagine, there is a lot of work needed to have this message go around the world. So count with us, Professor, dear friend, with Women for Solution, and for us individually to spread your message all around the world and to model it, not only talk about it, also to model it. Thank you so much for being here today, Laura.
Thank you very much. This has been amazing, Ervin. It was really inspiration for everybody. I think that with this, we're going to close this session. And then thank you, Ervin, again. And we hope we can connect again for another half an hour in the future after you write your books or other books are published. Thank you very much.